Hi, good evening, everyone. Can you hear me? Let me take the headphones here.
Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So welcome to Excelytics. So let me give a brief introduction about Excelytics. So we are into data analytics, we are providing training on different tools related to data analytics since last 7 years. Okay, so we have a dedicated team who are already working on data analytic tools in different MNCs and different organizations. So with our experience, we are able to provide good, useful training to the students, which is more practical oriented and towards helpful in improving their working culture. Okay. In addition to training, we are also authorized center for Microsoft Office Specialist examinations, which are conducted in our center itself. It's a Microsoft exam. Just a minute. Okay, sir. So we are authorized center for conducting this Microsoft exam. So it's a directly online exam that will be conducted from our center. Okay. You can take benefit of that for writing any certifications in Excel, Access, Word, or any other MS Office tools like PPT. So we are very well recognized in the social media. We get regular excellence awards in Urban Pro and Just Dial. We're also ISO 9000 certified institute. And all our trainers are also certified. Okay. So we impart training what is required for the day-to-day working to become a good, successful data analyst. And it will also help you grow in your job, in your career. And also in case you are looking for a change in job also, it will be useful for you. So in addition to this online trainings, we also provide classroom training. This session, whatsoever going on, it's available even from classroom also. And also we'll be discussing about some real-time examples, what will be the requirements of a data analyst, what will be the expectations, and how to solve those problems. We'll be discussing in detail in the day-to-day classes. Okay, in addition to this, we also provide corporate trainings where in any organization looking for multiple people in the organization get trained. They are looking for a custom training as per their requirements. Also, we can provide that also. Okay, this is all about our basic introduction to the Excelytics Institute. Okay, I think some of you are already our students and you must be aware that we are conducting courses in different tools related to the data analytics, right? So now let us come back to our topic, that is the Power BI. So any of you are aware of Power BI? Have you worked on or seen any reports in Power BI? Okay, it doesn't matter. can just, we'll be starting and we'll be discussing from the basics. So if you are having any experience on data analysis tools, it is well and good. Even otherwise, you will be able to understand how to work on this tool. Okay. Let me introduce myself. My name is Vinod. I'm into reporting for more than 15 years, working on different reporting tools like Crystal Reports, Excel, macros, Power BI, ClickView, like that. I'm certified Excel expert and also certified in Power BI. Okay, Microsoft Data Analyst Associate is the certification given for Power BI. Okay, the exam code is DA100. So I've completed that. And also I'm a certified ISO internal auditor. I've been working on different reporting tools. I've also done certification Crystal Reports. Okay, for the last 5 years, I've been into Power BI, developing different reports and also providing trainings for the Excelytics Institute, as well as we are conducting corporate trainings customized for the clients like Procter & Gamble, ITC, Water Health International, like that. Okay, this is by a brief introduction about myself. And now let us come to the actual topic. What is data analysis? Anybody, can you just put you in your own words, what is data analysis? Or what is data? If you want to say anything about data analysis or analyst, please share your thoughts. I'm not able to hear you. Can you be please louder?
It's basically analyzing raw data and putting it in an organized format, for management or someone like that to make it easy for them to come to some conclusions.
Yes, correct.
Like reports.
Yeah, that's quite important. It should help management get some conclusions, understand the data, what is there. Very good. Anybody else? You can put in your own words anything, whatever you know about this. Let's say I'm trying to make it interactive. So,
yes. So it can be termed as picking up the required values, which helps us to lead a proper conclusion. Like in an entire unstructured data, if we need a particular value, so the analysis would help us to take the appropriate value and which gives us a conclusion for the complete unstructured data.
Yes, yes, correct. So instead of seeing the overall data, we can give some important.
Correct.
Actually, that's the basic difference between a data and information. Okay, data could be very huge, could be in GBs, but when we pick something meaningful out of it, that we call it as the information. That's right. Yeah, Mr. Sailesh, please. Not able to hear you.
Hello.
Yeah, tell me, sir.
Is it audible to you?
Yes, yes, now it's audible.
Yeah.
So I think it also includes extracting. Some of us have completed, just completed SQL course. So I think analysis also includes like able to extract and
Yes.
analyze information from SQL Server databases and how to bring it into a presentable format, like
Yes.
using Power BI or Excel,
Yeah.
Power Query, or, to show it to to management.
That's correct. Power Query, these are all part of this. We use data analytics, and what is the major role of data analysis in the day-to-day life? Yes. Basically, we are now storing a lot of data in the computers, whether it's a small mall, a supermarket, or any industry. Everything now is in computers. So we are able to maintain historic data. Earlier, it's the notebooks or bound books, means it may be difficult to retrieve old data. But now that it is in a computer, this huge data can be taken advantage of by analyzing the data. Okay, that means observing what was the sales trends in the last few years. Accordingly, we can make a better projection for the coming year. That's what we call it as business intelligence or data analysis. Okay, this will help management make better decisions. That is the purpose of data analysis. It has become just necessary now. Without that, a company cannot survive. Previous years, like maybe some 10, 20 years back, a top management used to make some decisions based on their thumb rule, saying that, okay, I want to grow my business by 10% this year, or I want to sell this product more, like that. But now in the competitive market, it is not just sufficient to have a target is not sufficient. You need to have a properly planned target, how you are able to achieve. Is it possible or not? And there should be a basis for the decisions. That is done using this data analysis. Now, this has become a very important feature in any organization to be successful and to make profits. Proper analysis of data is necessary. That is the reason these jobs also, there are a lot of jobs coming up for data analysis, because without that, a company is not able to survive. Okay. So this data analysis basically consists of getting data from the different sources, because whole data may not be there in single database like SQL or Excel. Everything will not be there. Some of our, like I say, payroll, they may be using one software. Finance may be using a separate software. Production, each of the departments might be using different sources for storing the data. So data analysis requires that we merge the data from different sources, put it all in one place, clean up the data. Unnecessary rows, unnecessary data can be removed. What is required for the management to make right decisions? Only those data will be extracted from that. Okay. And finally, another important aspect is that most of these data analytic tools, we present the data in a graphical presentation. Okay. That will help management understand the data much easier rather than putting the data in a tabular form. Like, for example, here you see, just seeing the table, it is difficult to make out which is high and low. Same thing if I'm able to put it in a chart. The moment I see, I can make out that this is the highest value, this is the least value. Okay, which product is giving me more profit? Which product I'm able to sell more? All these things we can easily understand when we put it as a graphical presentation. This is what we call it as data visualization. So as a part of these data analytical tools, putting the data in graphical presentation is going to be the most important thing. Presenting it to the management in the way they can easily understand and make decisions appropriate. Making a right decision based on the data, that is the main target of a data analysis. Okay, we can create any number of charts, but what is useful, what is conveying the right message to the management, that is going to be the most important aspect. Okay. So while doing the data analysis, we have different ways. That means first thing is we can analyze the past data. Already, what is the data we are storing in the last 2-3 years? That's what we call it as descriptive analysis. The past data we'll analyze and see what went wrong or what went unfavorable to the organization. Which product we are able to sell more, or which region our market depth is good, where we are able to sell our products very well, where we are not having good presence. All those things can be done in the descriptive analysis. Next is diagnostic analysis. That is, what went wrong? What could have been a better way? What could have given us more sales? That is also done based upon our data. Okay. Further, predictive analysis is there. That is, for the future period, where I can sell the product, which area is possible to sell, or which products are giving me more profit, or which customers are giving me, which type of customers are giving me payments in time, whether Based upon the products, it could be offices, corporate clients or retail clients who are giving us more profit. That analysis we can do in the predictive analysis. Basically, predictive analysis means forecasting for the future. What I can do in the future, based on the past data, we are going to make a proper targets, a plan, or consciously we can make good decisions on the future targets. That is called the predictive analysis. And then even more advanced analysis has to be done when it comes to competitive market, because just having a past data is not sufficient. What is the market trends? How are the people behavior? Those things we can analyze using artificial intelligence and machine learning techniques. And then that will be going to be the most appropriate estimate for the future. That is called prescriptive analysis. Okay, these are the different types of analysis done on a data. And for the present scope of this Power BI, we'll be mostly concentrating on the descriptive and diagnostic analysis. Okay. Other analysis requires, in addition to Power BI, other tools like machine learning, Python, and that is a more job of a data scientist, we can say. Okay, that's a major job of a data scientist. So Power BI, we are going to see how to get data from different places, how to clean up the data and present it. This is going to cover mostly the first two aspects, descriptive and the diagnostic analysis. Okay, this will give us a very good fair idea about what is analysis, data analysis, and why we are doing analysis. Okay. And coming to the job opportunities, nowadays, even more than a software engineer, data analyst jobs, they are very huge, because every company is appointing data analysts to ensure that what they are doing, what the planning they are doing is more appropriate and as per the current trends. So there is a very growing demand for the data analyst. And also, even if you come to the salaries also, there is a good demand if you see the different sites. This is, I think, taken from Glassdoor. An average 5 lakhs per annum is the salary expected for an initial starting for a data analyst. With your experience, if you're already working on, you might be getting even more than this. Okay, this is a very general indicative of what could be the basic salary for a data analyst. Okay, so all these make us attractive, and also there is not much of programming involved here. So we don't need to be a computer science engineer to learn Power BI. Any data analyst, any knowledge of basic knowledge of computer would be good enough. And if you have an Excel knowledge, that will be an advantage, because this Power BI has been built based on the Power Excel. In the Excel, you must have heard of Power Query and Power Pivot. So Microsoft has started developing this Power BI as the add-ins in Excel, as a Power Query and Power Pivot. Later, they have added many more features to that and developed this Power BI in 2015. So last 6 years, it has been widely used and it has improved a lot. Lot of features have been added to this Power BI. Okay. So when you talk of Power BI, basically these are the components we'll be working on. First one is the Power BI desktop application. We need to download this software application, which is around 300 MB, but it's a freely downloadable version. So we can download and install it in our computer. This is the tool where we are going to actually work. Power BI desktop is the component. MSBI is a different technology. Okay. This is main advantage of this Power BI is it is a cloud-based service-based application. So you need not deploy anything. You need not send any file to your clients or your management. Once you develop this report and publish it to a cloud, it can be accessed from anywhere. It's an in-memory application. Okay, that means the data is stored in a compressed form within the tool itself. So your responses will be much faster. You can just slice and dice with the data, we call it like. That means presently, supposing a report is created to see the sales based on a category. Now you want it on some segment or some other category. You can easily change it on the report itself and you can get the result immediately. It doesn't take any time. That's the speed at which you can get. In the conventional reports, supposing one report is created, when you submit it to the management, they'll say everything okay. Finally, they say, no, I want on some other grouping. I want it for some other period. Again, you have to come back to your desktop and again modify the report. But here it's not like this. On the fly, you can just change the groupings, change the data output, create new charts on the fly itself because everything is available in the memory. The moment you click on something, the visuals will change. That we'll be seeing the reports now. Okay. So it's much more than that. Even SSRS reports, everything is going to move to this power segment. Okay, it has to be, the future will be only on this. Just like SSRS reports, we have got Power BI reports. This is not within this Power BI, but there is a separate component wherein you can create just like the SSRS reports. You can create it on the Power BI also. That can be published and shared with the users. You don't need to require to even install the software to view the reports. Just for developing the reports, you require this Power BI desktop. And also you should have access to the database. Okay, these are the different databases. Again, here, database is not limited to SQL Server or Excel. You can connect to any type of database. There are nearly 50, 60, and you name any software, any database, you can connect to this through the Power BI. SSRS reports is a separate thing. It is a part of MSBI. Okay, MSBI consists of SSRS reports, SSIS integration services, analytical services. Three together we call it as MSBI tools. Okay, Power BI is a separate tool. SQL reporting services, they are already in use along with the SQL Server. Okay, that's a different topic. We are talking now about the Power BI. Okay, this Power BI requires a desktop installation in your local system, and you should have access to the different databases. Okay, you connect to the database from the Power BI desktop application. Extract the data. That means you just pull the data, whatever is required in the reports, and store it in a compressed form in the desktop, and then create different types of visuals. Once the report is created, we publish it. We call it as a publishing. That means moving the report along with the data to the cloud server. Okay. You must have heard about the cloud server. Okay. Like for example, Gmail is there or Yahoo Mail. We are able to view the mails from anywhere, any laptop. Okay. We don't require any Exchange server within our system or anywhere. Just from a mobile or any computer, just able to connect. That is because all the mails are already stored in a cloud server. Cloud server is a remote server accessible through internet from anywhere. Okay, just if you have internet, that's enough. You can connect to any of the mails, Gmail, like your mail, with a authorization, with a username, password. You can view your mails from anywhere. That's because mails are already available on a cloud server. Same way, these reports also we are going to develop in the local system, but then publish it to a cloud server so that reports can be viewed from anywhere. Wherever your manager may be out of station, he is on move. He can just view the report on a tab or a mobile. Everything is the same report. It can be viewed on a mobile, a tab or a laptop, desktop or any computer. Just what you need is the internet. And also the permissions. You should have authorization to view the report. That's what is required. That's all. Okay. And these are the components that we are going to work on. So desktop, data sources, Power BI service. Service means this is what we get it while you publish it. So this is not anything to be installed in our system. It is simply that you are going to publish it to the cloud server and the different devices where we can view the report. In addition to that, there is one concept called Power BI Gateway. This is used to push the data from our local computer to the cloud. Once we have published the report is already available on the cloud, but it should be getting the latest data from our system or our software. In a computer daily, we are going to enter new transactions. That also should be moved and should be available for the report. That is done using the Power BI gateways. Okay. So these are the basic components to be used. So any questions till now?
No, sir. Clear so far.
Okay, let us see the basic steps. What is to be done to develop the reports in Power BI? First thing is getting data. We need to first recognize where is my data. Okay, this data could be on a Excel file, or it could be an SQL server or Oracle or any other server, or it could be a flat files. That means a text file or a CSV file. We have seen in the SQL sessions how to create a CSV file. So supposing such a files are available in my computer, or it's possible that all my data is already on a cloud server. Azure cloud server can have the data. If you are working on a web application for your organization, it's possible that the data is already stored on a Azure server. So any of these data sources, or if you are using SAP HANA data, any of them can be used as a data source for our report. Okay. So getting data, get data means basically recognizing where is the data and what is the data useful for our reports. That's the first step we have to do in the Power BI desktop. And once we get the data into the Power BI is going to compress the data and store it in a much smaller form. For example, I have a say 50 or 60 GB of Excel file. Okay. In Excel, if I want to open it and create a report, opening the file itself is going to take a lot of time. Many times it might even crash. But same thing, if you load the data into a Power BI, it will be hardly 5 MB. So it will be compressed and stored in a custom format using the Power Query engines. That's how we can easily load the data and view the data much faster compared to the other tools. Okay, so first step is getting the data into our tool. Once we have got the data need not be in a single file. Okay, our data might be coming from different sources, like some data is coming from SQL, some is coming from Excel or CSV, or within the Excel, we might be getting data from multiple sheets. Everything can be combined together. We establish relationships in the data modeling. That means like a lookup in the Excel, we write VLOOKUP formulas to get data from a different sheet or a different table. Those things all we can do it in the Power Data Modeling part. That is called the Power Query Editor, wherein we are going to edit the data and establish relationships between the different tables. We can also add custom calculation columns, do the formatting, everything is done in the data modeling. So we are just cleaning up the data, transforming the data and making it more suitable for reports. Okay, first step we can call it as extracting data. Getting data is extracting data from the data sources. Next, in the data modeling, we are going to transform the data, making it more suitable properly with relationships within the data model. Once data modeling is done, we can further add some formulas called measures, okay, like aggregates, sum, count, average, those things we can calculate and write formulas in a custom formula language called DAX. DAX means data analytical expressions. Okay, this is a programming formula language used in Power BI. So we are going to write formulas to make it get more efficient data. Like for example, you want to compare the sales of this year with the previous year. We can write functions which retrieves the data exactly 1 year old data or 2 year old data. That we can get it using different DAX measures. Once the DAX measures are written, next step would be to create the reports. A report is a basic graphical presentation of the data. We have different very good visuals are available in Power BI, which will help us create stunning visuals, which will make it easy to understand the data. Okay. So we have many 50 to 60 standard visuals are there. In addition to that, there are many custom visuals that can be included in our reports. Just report is just like an Excel report. It can be created in multiple tabs. Okay. Once we complete the reports, we can establish a security, because once the reports are created, it should not go into everybody's hand. It should go into the only authorized people. That's where row level security comes into play. Okay, we are going to add a security features wherein a person can see only the data that he is authorized to. We might create now presently, it's possible that we are creating a report, one report for the salesman, where he can see only his data. There could be another report for the manager who sees all the salesman's data. Okay. And further corporate reporting could be something different. But in case of Power BI, we can have everything in a single report based on your role, whether you are a manager or a AGM or just a sales executive. Based on your role, you will be seeing only data relevant to you. Okay, it's going to be the same report, but based on the role we play, the authorization given to us, we will see only the data that we are authorized to see. That is called row level security, that is embedded within the Power BI, wherein you can specify what data can be viewed by a particular role, and it will be only visible to him. That is setting up the roles and row level security. Once that is completed, we are going to publish the reports to the Azure server. Once it is published, the reports are available for viewing by anyone. We can share the reports to any authorized person, and the viewer can just view the reports on a browser. He should have a login permission, that's all. He can view the reports from the comfort of his own system without installing any software. Even MS Office is not required for him. Directly, he can view the report on a browser. So these are the basic stages of developing a report and making it available for the viewers. Okay. Anybody want to add something to this?
Sir, how do you decide, because the same reports can be done in Excel also, correct?
Yes.
So Excel Power Query we can use to create the same reports. So why should we use Power BI instead of Excel?
Yes, sir. Power Excel, again, as I told you, there is a limitation in the number of performance. As the data increases, it slows down. And also, you after developing the report in Excel, you'll have to send it to the concerned person. Okay. You cannot directly share the file. You will have to send it to him. He will be viewing the report. But in case of Power BI, you don't need to send it. Just you create the report and publish it, and the end user can view it. Automatically, it will start refreshing daily. You don't need to work on it anymore. It's an Excel report means every day you will have to just refresh it or modify anything and then send it to him. So a personal dependency is there in Excel reports. Unless you send it, your manager will not get it. Okay. And also you will have to wait for you to again send it next day. But in case of Power BI, can automatically set to refresh at least 8 times in a day. So even 1 hour old data also you'll be able to view in a Power BI report. There's no personal involvement, and it's much efficient, much faster.
Right. In a company, supposing only few people have Excel, and maybe some other people have Power BI access.
Yes.
In that case, can the Power BI reports be shared with the Excel people? Like if they don't have access to Power BI, can they be shared between the two applications?
Like there will be some limitations will be there. With the limitations, it can be done. Like supposing you have a Power BI report, you want to share it with somebody who don't have the Power BI.
Right.
You can export it to a PDF and send the report. But it will be a static report. That interactivity will be lost.
Right. But can that Power BI report be opened in Excel or it cannot?
No, it cannot be opened. But what you can do is, these first 2 steps can be completed, just like getting data and modeling, that can be done in Power BI and send it to Excel. Like instead of using Power Query, Power Pivot in Excel, supposing already a data model is available in Power BI,
right,
that can be exported to Excel, but it is going to export only the data and the model. The graphs will not be exported, the charts, because the chart is a different component in Power BI and Excel. So you'll have to create the charts once again in Excel.
Right.
Data modeling part can be taken from the Power BI so that you have a consistent report. What report is there in Power BI? Same data with the same connections, you can get it into Excel. Analyze data in Excel, that is called.
Right. Right. Okay. Thank you.
And to learn Power BI, there is no prerequisites. Basically, you should have an internet connection. That is the most important thing. And you should have a Windows 7 or a later version of the OC, that Windows OS. For developing, we require a Microsoft Windows OS. Okay, for viewing, you can view it on a Mac or any computer. And if you have a knowledge of Excel and SQL, it would be advantageous in the sense that the functions and those things, some are same. Like basic functions like sum, average, because these are all Microsoft products, they have some similarities. So if you know them, it will be easier to learn. Even otherwise, you can put some additional effort and learn Power BI. And for the Power BI, the major competitor is Tableau, which is basically there since more than 10 years, more than 15 years. Okay, so compared to Power BI, this is a more established tool and it is already installed in many companies. Okay, Power BI giving it a tough competition because Power BI is much easy to install, easy to implement. They are giving a free version, which is a single user version. When you start using Power BI, even with live data, you can develop reports. There is no cost involved. You can just make sure that all your report requirements are met by Power BI without spending any money on that. Okay. Only licensing requirements will come only when you want to distribute this to the other managers and when they have to log in with them, their own login permissions, then licensing is required. Okay. So before that, as a single user, you can just develop the reports and see that they are meeting your requirements. And even after buying licenses also, licensing fees is much lesser compared to Tableau. Most of the features that you are doing in Tableau can be done in Power BI itself. Okay. And Power BI is of course recommended for medium scale and small scale industries. It's a very big industry. The database is very huge, like 100 GB or more than that, then Tableau may be recommended. Otherwise, Power BI can meet all the requirements, whatever is done in a Tableau or any other data visualization tool like ClickView. Okay, basically deployment and development is much easier. Learning curve is very smooth. You can easily learn Power BI. As I said, it is just free to install in your local desktop and start exploring it. You don't require any licensing for that. There is no expiry date for that. Okay, only when you go live and you want to share with multiple people, you'll have to pay $10 nearly per month per user. The same thing is much higher compared to in Tableau, it is going to be much higher than the Power BI. Okay, that is the reason Power BI is preferred. And also those who know Excel, you can easily learn Power BI. And in the market, if you say this is a Gartner, this is a survey done by Gartner, it says that Microsoft is the leading product now compared to the Tableau, and other tools, other analytical tools are much below that. Okay, now it's a very fast growing tool, Power BI. In fact, you can see that every month you will be getting a new upgraded version of Power BI. They are going on adding new features, putting a lot of effort, adding new features into the Power BI. Okay. So that is the reason Power BI has become famous, and any small company also are able to implement Power BI. It does not require any server maintenance. When we just publish it, Azure services that is maintained by the Microsoft itself, we don't need to bother about the server maintenance. Okay, server maintenance will come into play only when you want to set up your cloud server in your own premises. That is when you have thousands of users. If you don't want to share your data with Microsoft, then you can have your own local server. Otherwise, it's not a necessary. Okay. So this is about the basic theory about the Power BI. Let us do one thing. We'll start creating a report and see actually what are the process, what are the steps. Yeah, we have seen the different steps in theory. Let us see how to do this on a report. Okay. So for using this Power BI, basically we need to install the Power BI, which is downloadable from the Microsoft downloads. Okay. I'll show you in detail how to download it. Before that, let me show you the tool, because just talking about theory, it may not be very interesting. Let us see the tool, and along with that, we'll be seeing what are the advantages of using the Power BI. Okay. So once you install the Power BI in a local system, you will be able to access it through your desktop shortcut, or just in the search window, click on Power BI. Yeah, Kishore, you want to say something?
No, sir.
Okay, just click on this Power BI desktop, or in the search window, just select the Power BI. The application is going to launch. So Power BI desktop, always remember when you download also click on Power BI desktop, because there are multiple tools starting with Power BI, which are the different components, different parts of this Power BI app store. So we are going to first work on Power BI desktop, which is the location where we are going to develop the reports. Okay, the initial window wherein it is going to show you the different reports which have been recently used, or you can open any other reports using clicking on open other reports. Otherwise, to create a new report, you're going to click on get data. Okay? Because for creating any report, the basic requirement is to have a data. To get the data, we're going to click on this get data button. So it is going to ask us what are the type of data you want to load. So these are the different types. Like you have a file systems, that is the Excel file, text file, or CSV file, XML, JSON, or even a folder. Supposing you have multiple sheets in a folder, multiple files in a folder, you can just load all the files in a folder at a time using this folder option. Or you can read data from a PDF also, but it is going to take only the tabulated data, any data in a tabular form that can be taken from the PDF and included in the report. Similarly, SharePoint folder or any type of folder, so we can select the data. Similarly, databases, SQL Server, MS Access, SSAS database, that means Cube. Okay, analytical services, Cube database also can be used. Oracle, IBM, Postgres, Sybase, take any database, any structured data, any data available in the form of tabular form that can be used in Power BI. Even analytical services also, data should be in the tabular format that can be read. Okay. Or you can say, already I have a Power BI report developed in our team. I want to just take the same data but create my own report in a different format. Even that can be an input to us. Data could be available on a Azure cloud server or a web page, even a web page or a SharePoint site. Anything can be the source of data for us. We can read data from them and include it in our report. And like this, multiple data sources can be added in the same report. Okay, could be a web page or a R script, Python script. If they are generating any tabulated data like sampling data, that data can be an input for us. Okay, we can have even ODC connectivity to any of the data sources. So like this, let us say first we'll start with an Excel file, which is what we can easily understand. So select the Excel, click on connect. It will ask us, where is your data file? First pick up the file. So we'll go to the folder where we are having the data. Select the Excel file, whichever you want to load it into the report and create some visuals. Click on open. So the Power BI is going to read the file and it will show what are the different sheets of data available in this particular Excel file. Like for example, here in this sales data, we are having data available in 4 different sheets: orders, customers, products, and people. So the same 4 sheets are displayed here in the Power BI also. Now you can click on any of the sheet name to have a preview of the data available in that particular sheet. Okay. This is about the orders, about the people information. This is about the product information. So let us say I want to load data from the orders table. I can select one or more files, more of these sheets to load the data. Let me select orders data for the first. Say load means it is going to load the complete data. Okay, whatever is there in the Excel, it will be compressed and extracted and stored within the Power BI. But of course, it's not the best thing. We may not need all these columns in a report. We require only specific columns. So what we can do is we can click on transform data. So this will open the data in another window called Power Query Editor. Okay. So we have selected the data from an Excel sheet. That data is read and extracted into the Power BI. In the Power BI, we can view the data here within the Power Query Editor, wherein we see actually the data that is available in our Excel file. Okay. In an Excel, there is one advantage that you can enter anything in a cell. There is no limitation that a order ID should have only the order IDs, or that a order date should have only the date columns. Anything can be stored in any cell. Okay. But this Power BI is going to ensure that your data is meaningful and appropriate. Any errors, it will be showing up here. Supposing order date is showing something which is an invalid date, it will show it as an error, saying that this is an error data. This way, we are going to remove unnecessary data, clean up the data, and also make sure that the data is appropriate, suitable for our reporting. And these are called the transformation steps. That means you can clean up the data. Supposing, for example, here, row ID column is there, which is not required in my reports. I can simply select and say remove column. So this column will not be loaded into the Power BI. Okay. So what is not required for the reports, we can simply select and remove it from being loaded. Similarly, here a lot of nulls are there. This is not useful for our analysis. So I can say remove. Postal code is there. Okay. It is supposing PIN code is a number, but still we are not going to do any aggregations on that. So while loading the data, we should read the data and understand what is the purpose of each of the column. Okay, this basically the columns are of 2 types. One, we call them as the categories on which we are going to do the grouping. Like I might be seeing east-wise sales, each region-wise sales, state-wide sales, city-wide, or based on a category. But I'm not going to do anything with the postal code. Okay. When you are grouping based on the different things like a product name, what you want to see based on this product, I want to see the total sales, total quantity, total profit. So whatever columns are there, basically the numeric columns on which you are going to do the aggregation, they are called the measures. Measure means like in a pivot table, we use it under the values section. Okay, the columns on which we are going to do the total. I would like to see what are the total sales in today, or what are the sales in this month, or what are the total sales of staple envelopes. So we are going to do an aggregation. What is the average cost of the particular product? What is the quantity sold? What is the profit I got it on a particular product? Or what is the total profit I got it from a separate city? So wherever you are going to do the totaling, whether it's a total sum, average, or count, they are called the measures. Okay. All other columns on which we are going to do the grouping, they are called the categories. Okay. These categories are generally not numeric, but it can be numeric also. Like for example, here postal code is there. It is a category. We are not going to do a total of the postal codes. We might see the total sales for each postal code. Okay. So here, this need not be a number. You can see here to the left top corner, it shows what is the data type of this particular column. It is going to ensure that the total, all the rows in this column has the same data type. Here it is saying 1, 2, 3 means it is recognizing this as a number. Okay. So, but postal code, I don't want to do any totaling. So I can just convert this into a text by just right click on this, say change type to text. So these are the different data types that are available in Power BI. Like a decimal number, that means a number with decimal values. Fixed decimal number, that means a number with a maximum of 4 decimal values. That is useful for the currency. Okay, generally currency might involve conversions to other currency from like US dollar to Indian rupee or from some Japanese yen like that. So it might have decimal values, but it is limited to 4 decimals. Whole number means any number without any decimal value and a percentage. Date and time, date or only time, or date and time with a time zone. Duration. So these are the different data types that are available in Power BI. True or false, it's a Boolean value. A binary, it is used for loading pictures, images, and those things, or a video. Okay, these are the different types of data types. System is going to automatically recognize the data type based on the data we are loading. Yeah, because this column has all the numbers, it is calling it as a number. But I can convert into a text also. Because postal code, I am not going to use it for any aggregations. Simply, I am going to use it for grouping. So whatever categories that are for grouping them, we can call them as the text fields or a date field. So this is the symbol for the date field. Okay, normally we'll be using a text, date, numeric, and Boolean values. Okay, so we can decide here, we can fix up what is 1.2 means this is a decimal field. Because discount can be in fractions, it is created as a decimal value. Okay, decimal number. 1.2 represents a decimal number. So like this, we can have the different columns available. Next, if I want to add a custom columns, I can add it. Okay, like a transformation, this column ID is there. This I want to pick up only the numeric part of this. I can extract this. I can split this column into multiple columns. Or I can, supposing I have an order date. Now the data is there from 2014 to 18. I want only data from 16, 17, and 18. Okay, so I can apply a filter here, just like in Excel. How we apply a filter, saying data filters, date after, say any date after say 31/12/2015. Only that I want to load 15. I think this system format is MMDD4 wise. So we'll have to add it in the same format. Okay, 12th month, 31 date 2015. Say okay. So now it is going to apply a filter. So you can observe that right side you are seeing properties. Name is the name of the sheet which we have added. We can customize the name to make it more clear and understandable. And below that we see the different applied steps. These are the steps that we have done here in transforming the data. Okay. For example, this is the source of data we have selected. We have selected an Excel file having these many sheets. Next, we went to a particular sheet called orders. Okay, in this sheet, you can see initially the first row is the headers, but system has taken care of promoting the first row as the header because it knows that the first row, these are all the header values. Okay, it is able to understand because these are all dates, but header is only the text. Okay, so based on the pattern of the data, it recognizes that the first row is a header, and so it has promoted it first row as the header. By default, we see ABC 1 to 3 as the data type for each of the column, but Excel is going to analyze it further based on the first few rows and see whether is it a number or a text or a date. Accordingly, it is going to change the data types to appropriate based on the text. If it is not correct, it has not done properly, we are always allowed to change the data type by clicking on this alphabet, change the data type to the appropriate one. Okay. Similarly, if you don't want any columns, you can just click on remove columns to remove the unnecessary columns. Next, further change the type, we have made changes. We have filtered the rows, removed the rows which are prior to 2015, December 12th, 2015. So we want only the data after 2015. So like these are the basic steps we have done to pick up only the data that is required for the reports. Okay, so once this is done, we are going to say close and apply. That is going to load the data. The filtered data only will be loaded into the Power BI. So once the data is loaded into the Power BI, in the interface, we are going to see the list of fields. Fields are basically the column headers of the data that we have loaded. You can see we have selected a table called orders, which has these as the different columns. Right side, you can see the column headers. They are same as the column headers we see here on the orders page. On the top row, whatever is the column headers are there, they are shown here as the fields. Okay, so a fields list consists of all the list of columns that are loaded into the Power BI. Now we have loaded only one table, so we have only one list. We load multiple tables, we see multiple tables and the corresponding fields here. Okay. Coming to the top here, we can see the different menus available for working with the Power BI. Okay. Below that, we see the commands. Supposing I want to get the data after loading the first file. Supposing I want to load some other data. Again, from here, I can click on get data, select what is the type of data to be loaded and load the data into the Power BI. If you want to have Excel or the Power BI, few shortcuts are already given here. Directly you can click on them. Supposing I want to get data from SQL Server, I can directly click on SQL Server here also. Okay, that's how we can get the data from different sources. Or if you want to enter a data here, you can just click on this enter data to create a table within the Power BI itself. Supposing you want to go back to the transformation, that means Power Query Editor, you want to go back, you can click on this transformation tab and it will show you the editor again. You can make further changes here. Okay. Or supposing I want to know now, I've got a report already developed and somebody has sent me a report. I want to know from where the data is coming. Okay. Because if I just have a latest data in my local system, it may not be mapped to this report. To know from where the data is coming, we are going to click on transform data, data source settings. So this is going to show what is the data presently loaded and from which path it is coming. This is a very useful feature because somebody has already developed a report and given you. You want to start editing that. So first you need to map it to the appropriate database as per this path used in the data source settings. Okay. So data source settings under the transform data, this is the place where we see the actual data being loaded from where you are getting the data. Once this data is loaded, we don't require the data source. Okay, it can move. File may be deleted from that place also, it doesn't matter. As long as data is available within the Power BI, we can start creating the reports. Okay. Now, let us see. In an Excel, actually, we'll be entering the data in a sheet, even charts, everything, we put it on the sheet itself. But here in Power BI, we have different areas. This is the area where we are going to add the charts. It's called the report view. Below that, we have the data view. Okay, left side, we can see, click on this, it shows the data being presently loaded into the Power BI. Okay, whatever data is loaded, that can be previewed here. This is the data available for you to create the report. And the third tab is called the relationship tab. It is useful where you have data in multiple tables. Presently, we have only orders table. Okay, so one table means we see only the one list of fields here. you have multiple tables, you can create relationship between them. That means the columns on which you want to do the VLOOKUP. Those things we can set it up here in the relationship tab. So these are the 3 tabs available in a Power BI. First is a report view, data view, relationship view. Okay. This is the report view that we are going to create the reports. You can see in the bottom it is given page 1. Just double click on that and add a page. You can change the page to say my first report. Anything you want to give the name to that tab, you can give it by just double click on the name and change the name of the tab. Like this, we can add multiple tabs by clicking on plus symbol. Okay, and each page may have related charts included. You don't need to have everything in a single page. Just like Excel, here also we can have a report created with multiple report pages. So here we see the different visuals available. Okay, these are the column charts, line charts, pie chart. We are going to discuss about each of the charts in detail in the coming classes. But basically, this is the location where we have the charts. Okay. Now, supposing I want to create a column chart, I'll just click on this clustered column chart. So it is going to create an empty chart here. This chart, what are the data you want to display? Supposing I want to display based on the category, for each category. Okay, how many sales could be achieved? So just select these columns and it has created a chart here showing the sales by category. Okay. Is it clear? Are you able to understand till now how to create a simple chart? Any questions?
Sir, that table that was imported from Excel,
Yes, sir.
is it converted like a SQL table, like with constraints and all that, or is it just like a plain Excel table when it comes into Power BI, like the one you showed in the
It's a
previous?
simple table, that's all. Like constraints will not be there in a Excel. That is a disadvantage. But when you get it into this Power BI, it is going to verify. As we have seen in the transformation tab, it is going to make sure that every column has a header. Okay. If supposing order date has some invalid dates, not properly formatted, you cannot define this as a date column. It will be only a text column. Okay. If you say date means it is going to identify which rows are having wrong data. That means invalid dates are there in any of the column. It is going to highlight. Similarly, any number column is there and data is stored as a text. It is going to highlight that this is not a valid numeric column. That's how we can identify the checks. Checks can be done while loading the data itself. Any invalid data will not be loaded. It will be shown separately as the errors. Okay.
So if you import from SQL Server table, which has some constraints, then will those constraints also be imported into Power BI? Like in this table, if it after it's imported?
Constraints means basically foreign keys are taken to establish the relationship. When you are loading two tables, like a product and product category,
right,
going to automatically take the foreign key relationship and establish a relationship here.
Okay.
Other than that, the remaining constraints are not of very important because we are not going to modify data here. Okay.
Right.
Check constraint is there, whether value is greater than certain limit or not. Those things are not required here because already data is there in SQL that we are getting into this for reporting purpose only.
Right. Okay.
Primary key is also generally it is loaded. Okay, it's not necessary that it has to be unique here, but to establish the relationships, it will be using the primary keys.
Right. Okay.
So this is a simple way of creating a chart within the Power BI. In addition to that, even easier way is once the data is loaded, just double click on the screen. It will create, there is a natural question and answer feature is there. That means you simply ask a question here and it will automatically create a chart. This is useful for us managers wherein we are not going to create the basic report. Okay, already report is created, data is loaded, but I want to have a certain other look. Here I am seeing category wise sales. I want to see category wise profit. Okay, so I can simply write here category. It will show up the appropriate column available in the database. So category and profit. Okay, there is a profit column also. So it has selected profit and automatically created a chart for us. So we don't need to know any programming, this reporting knowledge. Just once you have this question and answer, natural question and answer feature, with the basic simple English words, you can create a chart. Say category and profit, you got a chart. I want this in a, supposing a pie chart. I can click on pie chart. It has converted into a pie chart. Okay, this is how we can easily create the visuals in Power BI. Okay. Once you think this is what I wanted, you can click on this to convert this into a normal chart. So it becomes a pie chart available in the report. This is as simple as this to create a chart. Okay. Once you create a chart, what are the columns used in this chart? They are displayed under the visualization section. Here you can see this is the legend. It's a category. These are the category values. So legend is the category. And the value section, we are using the profit. So these two columns are used in this particular chart. Same thing, if I click on this chart, it shows the values used in this particular chart. Axis is category and values is sales. Okay. So this is where we can see what are the columns used within a chart. And you have this paintbrush symbol. Click on this. This is giving you an option to customize the look and feel of the chart. Like for example, here x-axis, that means the horizontal axis of the chart. This you want to change the color of the font. You can change it. Increase the font size. Okay. Change the font style. Like this, you can make any changes to the chart using the different properties available here. Here there is a category title is shown in the bottom. Very often we don't require that because by the name itself, we know that they are the product categories. So I can remove this category by saying title is off. By just setting up, changing the settings here, you can have different output. Like supposing scale is in the left side, I want to change it to the right side. We'll move to this one. Okay, color. Okay, left, right means which side is going behind this one. Let's put it at the left side, and these are the millions we are seeing. I don't want in the millions, I want to show it as, say, thousands. I can say thousands. So like this, we can easily just select the options and you see the report created here. Okay, this is the basic steps in creating a report. Once a visual is created, I want to know actually what are the filters applied on this. I can see here. So now presently there are no filters applied. Okay, if I want to apply any filter on this, how to apply filter? In Excel also we add slicers for any visual. Same way, here also we can add a slicer. Just click on this slicer. This is one of the visual slicer is also an independent component here. It's not a part of any pivot table or anything. It's a separate visual slicer. Select slicer. And here supposing I select a state. That means select a state. It shows the list of states available. If I select any state, California, it will show the data only for the California. By default, all the visuals on a sheet are automatically connected. So if I click on Florida, both the sheets, both the visuals change at a time. Okay. Not only that, even I can click on one of the visual itself to apply a filter on the other. Only for office supplies, these are the categorized sales. I click on technology, this is for the technology. This is for the furniture. Like this, they automatically connected. Click on any of the visual, others will automatically get refreshed and display the data relevant to this particular state selected. Okay, this is how we can apply multiple slices and create this report. We also have the text boxes and buttons and those things we can add it here. So this is how we are going to basically include a charts within a Power BI report. Once this is done, we are going to save it. Save demo. And after saving the report, we can publish it to the service so that it can be viewed on a browser also. So click on the publish button. So for publishing, we require a registration. We need to register to the Power BI. What about others? Are you able to listen? Yeah, I think there's no problem from this side. So you please verify your settings, or please contact our admin. They are going to help you here. Okay, so for publishing, first thing you need to register. Register also, it's a free registration only. You don't need to pay anything. Only thing, you should use a office mail ID and a corporate mail ID, not a Gmail or a Yahoo mail. Any corporate, school or office mail ID should be used to register to the Power BI. Okay, once you register, you can publish the report to the service. So I'll select this Power BI My Workspace and publish it. So this report is now being moved to the cloud server along with the data that it is displaying. So it hardly takes any fraction of a minute. Now I can view this report on a browser. Okay, whether it's a Chrome or Edge, anywhere you can view the reports. That is not only in this computer, I can view it in any of the computers, wherein I need to just log into with my user ID and then view the report. So the path where you want to view the report, it is called app.powerbi.com. Okay, app.powerbi.com is the path where you can connect to the report and sign in. So now this has opened the different reports available in this my service, whatever I have loaded are available in this Power BI service. Okay. So in the My Workspace, if I click on My Workspace on the service, I can see all the reports that I have uploaded. Out of this, demo is the one which we have just now loaded. Just now we have uploaded this one. Okay. Click on this to view the report that we have created. Same thing now is available. Okay. So this can be viewed anywhere once it is published. That's the main advantage of this Power BI. It's called an in-memory application. That means the data is already loaded into this one. So the moment I click on anything, even on a browser, the moment I select, it automatically changes. Okay. So this is how we create a report in Power BI and publish it to the service. Can we change it from here? Yes, we can also edit the report from here. By default, it is in a view mode. But if you want to edit, you can click on edit. Because while discussing with the manager, he says something differently. You want some different colors. You can just click on edit. And here you can see, this is just like a desktop. You are able to see the visualizations, everything. I want to change this from column chart to a line chart. Click on line chart. It converts into a line chart or a area chart. Okay, like this, we can easily make any changes here, add a new chart, anything we can do. We can add a new page. Here, supposing I want to create a pie chart showing the sales by segment. It creates a chart here. Okay, all other thing, whatever we do on the desktop can be done here also. And then save it. File, save. You can save this. It is saved within the service. If you want, you can download this. Download report. This will be downloaded into your local system. You can export to a PowerPoint presentation. You can export to a PDF or publish it to the web. Publish to web means anybody having the URL path can view the report. Okay, like that different features are available. You can even take a printout. Yeah. Ask a question that I've shown you before. Now here also, you can just click on ask a question. Here it will ask you what you want to see. You can just give a question or predefined questions will be there. Just select them. It is going to create a report chart on that one. Okay, this is how the Power BI works. This is as simple as this. Once this is done, I can change the view settings and I can also share the report. I can click on share and send the report to any of my colleagues. Simply give their mail ID and tell them whether they can further share it with somebody else or not. Can they use this my data set for their own reports? Or do you want to send an email notification to the recipient so that he should know that he has received a report? Okay, you can just add any mail ID here, say Pradeep, and says share. Now this report is available for him to view. Okay, when he connects to with his login in the shared with me, I'll be seeing those reports, whatever are reports shared with me by different people. Okay, this is how the Power BI works. Let us get back to our PowerPoint presentation and see what are the advantages and overview. Okay. For example, we have seen that this is just look and feel is almost like an Excel, wherein the commands are there on the top. You have the option to select, drag and drop, right mouse click. All this cut, copy, paste, everything is similar to Excel. So anybody working on Excel may find it very easy to look into this one. So that's the advantage of being a Microsoft product. It looks like a similar other products. It can connect to any database. We have seen the different databases that it can connect to. We'll be seeing examples daily, how to connect to an Excel, Access, flat files, SQL Server, SharePoint, okay, a web page. All the examples we'll be seeing in the coming days, how to connect to different data sources. We'll also see a report wherein we are getting part of the data from SQL and some data from flat file. So together, how to combine data from different data sources, put it in a single report. We have seen how to export the report to Excel, PPT, and PDF. Okay. In the service itself, of course, we are not exported. But if I want to export a report, supposing sales data report is there, this report I want to export it. You can see here, there is a text heading also is there. These are called the key KPIs or key performance indicators. We are having a conditional formatting done using icons. Okay, all these things what we do in Excel can be done here also. So this report, supposing I want to export it to a PPT or a PDF, click on PDF. Export. So it's going to create a PDF of this existing report. the data is highly compressed. So even if you are loading data from a very huge, big database, still Power BI file is not going to be as big as the data. It is going to store in the compressed form. A drill down feature is inbuilt within the Power BI. I'm going to show you how it is done. Here, for example, I have a report wherein in this visual, I have a year as well as date. Let me show another page. Here we have by default, say supposing I'm seeing the sales by region. Each region wise sales are there. Okay. I want to see the, okay, West region, I'm seeing sales are very good. Now I want to know within the West region, how the sales are high, which state has given me the high sales. So I'll click on this West region. It shows within the West region, state-wise, what are the sales. Now again, California is having the highest sales. I'll click on California. It shows within the California, city-wise sales. So this is all in part inbuilt feature. We are not going, drill down is a part of the Power BI tool. We are not adding any new functionality or any coding, extra coding for getting this. Just we are going to add these three fields as the axis: region, state, and city. So it is going to automatically show us first by region. Click on the region, it shows by the state. Click on the state by city. Okay. Another way of drill down is, say, supposing I don't want to just see West, but I want to see everything by state. Okay. After region, state is there. So click on this down arrow. It will show every state sales. Further drill down, it will show by every city. So it's not filtering by the selected region, but it's going to show all the states. That's how we can do it in different ways of drill down. Whether at a one level, you want to see only the breakup of this one, or you can see all the sales in detail. Okay. But, or if you want to have both the headings, you can click on this option. It shows within the South region, Virginia. Within the South, this is the state. Within the South, California, like that. It will show both the labels. Okay. Like this, there are different ways we can view the report from the same data available. This is a line chart, which includes a average line also. Total sales and also compared along with the average line. Here, one more feature I'll show you. For example, I am discussing about the sales of the different regions. Okay. This is a custom visual called a play axis. In addition to these visuals available, we have many more custom visuals that can be downloaded from the net and used within our reports. For example, this visual is there. Click on this. It will automatically change the region, East region. This is the sales. Okay. Next, it will go to the next region, West, and show the sales. Like that, region wise, we will be able to see the sales. Central, first it is analyzing. Next, West region. After that, South. So I'm not clicking on anything. It is just going to play one by one the regions and show the sales of each of the regions. Just like a video player, it is going to show one by one each of the regions. What are the sales in that particular region? So when you're discussing it in a conference, so you don't need to go on clicking for every region. You can just allow this to play and while you explain it. Okay. Like this, there are many more custom visuals are there, which we are going to discuss how to use them and how to include them in our report. That's what we are going to learn in this course, how to create these reports. Yes, we are going to discuss about these visuals, how to use them in our report, how to include a heading, the different buttons. Slicer, this is called a custom slicer, wherein you click on any of them, data shows for the selected one only the three. Okay. Similarly, selecting an year, corresponding data, it comes. This is what we are going to discuss. This is another type of view like a tree map. And also this is a bar chart. Here, presently I am seeing 5 customers. Okay, that's because I said that select sales amount. Customers with total sales greater than 1,55,000 only I am showing. Supposing I change this to 1,80,000, then it will show only customers whose sales are more than 1,80,000. 1 lakh, I think. Let us say I want to see all customers who are having sales more than 45,000. It will show all the customers. So just by sliding this, we can filter out and see only the top 5, top 10, or above that particular threshold value. Okay. This is one customization that we can do. Linking this slider with the column chart. And also you can observe here, normally a tooltip means it will be only a text, but we can create custom tooltips which display data based on the selected point. There are different types of visuals are there. We are going to develop all of them. This is on a map. Here we can zoom in and see the details. Okay, we can also click on the drill down to see within that what are the details available. Like for example, I'm seeing first by state wise, each state what are the sales. Okay, New York sales, California sales. Within this also we are able to see a breakup product wise. I want to get the details within the state city wise sales I want. Can click on that. It is going to give further more details. Within this California, New York, city wise what are the sales. Tooltip shows the which state we have selected and which city we have selected. Okay. This is a map view. This we have seen. These are called the Kpi indicators, which display the data as a gauge, or it will show the best product in the selected region. Kpi means it's a key performance indicator, which is very important for the management to understand what are the best performance, what is the current performance. Here you can see another feature wherein presently I am seeing a column chart. Supposing I want to have a table view, you can click on this table view. I'll get a data in the table view. Click on a pie chart, I get a pie chart. This is how we can dynamically change the chart that is displayed by clicking on the buttons. Okay, these are the different types of customizations that can be done in a Power BI. We are going to discuss in detail about these different features. From next Saturday onwards, classes will be continued. We'll be again starting from the basics, how to load the data. Yes, sir, animated chart also can be added. That example I don't have presently, but we have already published it in the YouTube. Okay, I can show it in the regular class how to use that one. Okay, because that requires downloading it. Yes, in the YouTube, I have developed that same thing and uploaded. Yeah, tell me, sir. Yes. Okay, any questions?
Hello.
Yes, sir, tell me.
Hi, sir. Thanks for the sharing of this information about Power BI. So this is Mohan.
Yeah, tell me.
So I have one doubt. So I do not have any experience on VBA and advanced Excel. So can I learn this Power BI without that?
Yes, you can learn, sir. VBA is not required. We are not going to write any coding here. Only thing we are going to write is the DAX formulas. Okay.
Okay.
Like a simple formula, it could be like this: say calculate sum of orders. This is one of the formulas.
Okay.
A complex formula may be in multiple lines like this.
Okay.
This is the only part which you need to concentrate. Remaining everything is just like a user interface only. Right click or change the properties here and see the impact there.
Okay.
It will
Okay.
be much easier than a VBA.
Okay. So VBA is not required. I mean, VBA is not required.
VBA is not required. Excel we recommend only because there you must be already working on pivot tables and charts. So you will have a general idea on what is data analysis.
Yes. Yes.
That's all. Even if you don't know that also, here we are going to anyway discuss from the basics so you can understand.
Okay. And thanks. And one more question is, so what are the opportunities that we have after learning of this Power BI, and how much package, if they, what is the package level that they give by companies?
It depends upon your experience. And basically we can become a MIS report analyst or a data analyst.
Okay.
Okay, that is widely required now. Every company is looking for data analyst. Even in fact, even in Excel, somebody is looking for a MIS analyst job. They are expecting people to know Power BI because every company nowadays is moving to Power BI, trying to include that in their reporting module. So as a data analyst, you can look for a job.
So I'm working as a data analyst in S&P Global Market Intelligence.
Okay.
They have recently implemented this Power BI,
Okay.
and total I have 5 years of experience in data analysis in financial industry.
Okay. So with that knowledge, you can easily create these reports, and salary part depends upon how you demand it. Like based on your current salary, you'll be surely getting a better salary with this new additional knowledge.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. For publishing the Power BI report, you don't require any Azure cloud because Azure is a part of this Power BI tool itself. So we are not bothered about where it is published. Okay, Microsoft Power BI is going to take the responsibility of keeping it available on Azure server. For that purpose only, we are paying a monthly subscription. Okay, when you actually Power BI is implemented, you are going, each user has to pay $10 per month as the pro license user. That charge is only for the purpose of giving us space in the Azure cloud server. Okay, I think 5 GB of space is provided for each user. That's more than enough because data is stored in the compressed form. It's not going to occupy much space. So we don't need to worry about the Azure, or we don't need to learn Azure at all for this Power BI. Just we are clicking on this publish and viewing the report on a browser. That's all.
Sir, after downloading this Power BI,
yes,
I think you signed into an account, right, to see the report.
Yeah, we need to register. Sir. Yes.
So how do we associate? I have a Hotmail account, email account.
Okay.
So how do I associate that with the downloaded Power BI, desktop?
For downloading and creating a report in desktop, you don't require that registration, but registration is required for publishing it to the service. Okay.
Right.
Having said that, this you cannot use a Hotmail to register.
Oh,
you need to have a company mail ID or any mail ID which doesn't have that Hotmail, Gmail at the end. Okay. I think they are even available online also. You can easily create a mail ID, temporary mail ID. That mail ID is required only once for registration. Once registered, you have a mail ID and a custom password. You don't require that mail.
Okay.
Course fees and details will be provided by the admin. You please contact them, or you can share your mail ID, phone number, and name. We'll be contacting you with the contents, what we are going to be covered in the course and other details. Tenure will be 4 weeks. Will be 4 weekends. That means 8 sessions. And if we have anything pending, we'll be continuing for the next session also.
What are the timings for the class, sir, on Saturday?
Will be 2 to 5.
2 to 5, and only on Saturday?
Saturday and Sunday.
Okay, sir.
2 days a week, so it will be 4 weeks.
Okay, sir.
Sir, so resume preparation and interviews, everything will be covered under our training, no?
Yeah, we'll be providing the questions, interview questions, generally what will be asked.
Okay.
The resume preparation, it's not a part of the curriculum, but if you need any help, you can contact our people. Okay, personally, we can help you.
Because we doesn't know what are the things that we keep in our resume for shortlist.
Yeah, we can guide you if you come to our institute, and
Sure.
it's on a case to case
Now-
basis. But interview questions, what will be expected, what will be asked, that we are going to cover in the course.
Because of this corona, we do not have any chance to come to the office, I mean, institute, no? That is why
You can come separately also, you can come and meet us, not a problem. Before closing the course, you can fix up a time and you can come. We can meet in the institute on a one-on-one basis.
Sure.
Sir, on some of these large websites, they show dashboards, like for example, COVID information,
Yes, sir.
like on websites, they show like all of India,
Yeah.
all of US COVID numbers and like a dashboard.
Yeah.
So all that is created with something like Power BI, or is it more sophisticated?
And like this one, sir. This is like, I'll show you a dashboard. So like this is one dashboard where it shows the gauge showing what are the sales against the target, what is the best performer, what are the top 5 products. Okay, this is showing the comparison of sales with the quantity. And here we can see what was the sales in the last year, different months. What was the target, whether it is achieved or not. Same thing, if target is not achieved, this would have shown in a red color. Okay. This is the different ways we can represent the data. So we are going to design. Dashboard basically consists of important visuals included into a separate dashboard, because a report can have multiple pages. Management, like, they may not be interested in scrolling through each and every page. Instead of that, we are going to create a dashboard that is going to have important visuals from our reports. So many pages are there. Okay.
Right.
We don't need to scroll through each and every page, because everything may not be the most critical. So important of them can be moved to a dashboard. Like for example, this is there. Okay, this I want to move to a dashboard. I'll just click on this pin visual and select a dashboard into which I want to move it. Say pin. So this will be moved to that particular dashboard at to the bottom. Okay, this has come here. This can be again rearranged by moving it into the top or left, wherever we want to put in. Okay, this is called a dashboard, wherein we see the important visuals all arranged at one place. This can be also viewed on a mobile phone also. The same view can be just seen on a mobile. We don't need to do any changes further. Simply we can just select the view as a mobile view and you can see it on the mobile. Okay. And
Sir, in mobile view, for example, if I shared the report in a mobile view and the opposite person who has received the file in mobile view can also access the slicer and all the tools in that page, no? Or else is it only a kind of PDF view?
now, can you just go one by one? Tell me what's your question?
Hello?
Yeah, tell me, sir, what's your question?
No, sir, I was just asking, we can share the report to the mobile view as what you said, no? The person who is
supposing
receiving
this report is there, I want to see how it is going to appear on a mobile phone. Click on mobile layout. So it will show like what are the visuals you want here. You can just place them. These are all the available. Say, supposing I want this on the top. Okay, I can resize it. Say this is how I want to see this visual. Next, below that, I want to see this card. I can rearrange like this, whatever I want and wherever I want. So in a mobile view, basically horizontally it will be a single page, but down you can scroll down to any length. That's how we can rearrange and create a mobile view for the report. So that this is how it is going to appear on a mobile.
Sir, whenever the data is changed, how can we make these graphs also update themselves?
Yeah, that is can be set up in the service itself by creating a scheduled refresh. We can set up. Like basically, a Power BI service, you can see dashboards. You can see here, this symbol represents a report. This the data set. That means this is the data that is being loaded into the report. I want to refresh this. Either I can click on a refresh now to refresh now itself, or we have a setup to schedule the refreshes. I need to set up a gateway for that. Okay, once a gateway is set up, gateway means basically giving permission to the Power BI to connect to our local system. Okay, once it's set up, we can say that I want to refresh this report at a particular time. At what time every day you want to refresh, you can set up so that daily at this time, or you can set up 8 times in a day that the data has to refresh. It will automatically refresh and get the latest view on the reports. So any changes we do on the report, like you want to add a new slicer or a new field, then you have to publish again. But for the data part, you don't need to do anything. It will automatically refresh based on the scheduled time. In fact, there is another very good feature, that is supposing we have a data, but we don't know what are the visuals that is to be created. Okay, then what we can do is select the data source. And you can just click on insights. Okay, it is going to automatically create the insights for us, get quick insights. So based on the data available, using all permutation and combination, it is going to create multiple charts for us. So from those charts, we can pick up and say, okay, these are quite meaningful and relevant for my analysis. I can include that into the dashboard. So it has just created the insights. We can view them. So this says that based on this chart, employees count is trending upward. Number of employees are increasing. Here it says that 30 to 49 has a relatively steady percentage of total new hire count. So most of the people that are hired are in this age group, it says. So like this, based on the data, it is going to create different analysis. Group A has noticeably more separation count. That means they are going off more often. Active count. So it has automatically created, it doesn't know anything about the data, just using all combinations, different charts have been created. Whichever you think is relevant. Supposing employee count for the year shows seasonality, that means based on the period it is changing. I want to make this useful. I want to show this to the management. I can click on this pin and include this in one of the dashboards. So let us put it here in one of the dashboards, say first dashboard, pin it. So in this dashboard, the new visual is also included at the bottom. So we can easily create and add new visuals into our dashboards. We can even embed videos. Supposing any sales conference has been done, that can be part of our visual in a dashboard. Can be played from here. Okay, we can add a text headings. We can add icons or company logo and those things into the dashboard. So this is how we have seen automatically generating insights on the data. So when supposing a huge data is given to us, we don't know what type of charts to be created. Even management may not tell that you want a particular pie chart or a column chart. Just click on these insights and you see the different combinations of charts that can be created. From that, we can easily pick up whichever is relevant and useful for us. Okay. And once we have learned it, there is a very big community of Power BI developers. You can just click on community.powerbi.com. Okay. There are a lot of questions answered there. You ask any question also, they will give somebody or else will just reply to them. Even Telegram also, there is many groups are there on Power BI professionals, wherein we get a lot of information about the Power BI usage, how to get help on the Power BI. Okay, any other questions?
Sir, can this Power BI charts, once we create it, can we embed it on like a company's homepage or something like that? Because
yes, it can be embedded. We need to have Power BI embed license for that. It can be embedded into the web applications so that set up and refresh automatically.
okay, but you need license for that. You just can't do it like how we put pictures on a web page.
Yeah, static images you can put it like as it is, but you want to make it interactive and live, you need to
Right.
have license.
Okay.
Generally, that will be done by premium licensed people. Premium license means they are going to pay a lump sum amount. Okay, like say it will be around $5,000 per month. When that is paid, each user need not have a license. Like a web page means many people will be viewing that report. So everybody don't require a license to view the report.
Right.
Only those who are developing and embedding, he requires a license. And overall corporate level, we need to pay that premium license.
Right. Because a lot of the stock, stock web pages, they show the stocks and all changing, like every minute.
Yeah, yeah.
I think they use this kind of tool.
Yeah, that is called streaming data. Like different data types, we can have a streaming data also used for the reports. So that will be automatically streaming, and as it changes, we see the report also change. Okay, any other questions? Basically, in the data modeling, we are going to discuss about these topics, like how to build relationships between the tables, how to format the numeric fields. Formatting means the main advantage here is that in Power BI, as we see the different fields list. So supposing here there is a particular field, I need to format it only once. Once I format it and say that it should show with a comma separator and $sign. Any visual I use that field, it will automatically format like that. So formatting need not be individually done in each and every visual. We do at a field level. The sort order also, we can customize the way data is sorted. We can have custom sortings. We can hide tables and view fields from the report view. Like some of the tables may be required for getting the data, but actually end user, we may not be using that. Like for example, this customer ID is there. Okay, ID will not be putting it on a report directly, but it is required for creating the relationships. Such fields can be hidden from the report view. Okay, simply right click on this and say hide. So this field will not be displayed here. So there will not be any confusion whether we can add it or not. Okay, any other questions? Or shall we stop it here? Yes, we can connect to a live data if it is there on a SQL Analytical Services server. Azure server. So live data connection is presently allowed only for the SQL analytical services tabular data. There, all formatting and all formulas, measures, everything is created on the server side itself. We'll be using report just for the presentation. And as the data changes, automatically you can see the new charts, new data on the report. There's no refresh required there. Directly you will be getting the live data. Charts, all these charts will support it. Only thing you can do only the presentation part. So transform tab will not be there. You don't need to do any transformations there. All transformations have to be taken care on the analytical services itself, SaaS itself. Charts, any of these charts can be used. Or even many more custom charts are available, which you can download it, like for supposing stocks and those things. There are many custom visuals available. You can download and use it within the Power BI.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Tell me.
Sir, as you said that when in a comparison with Excel and Power BI, you said that we don't have that cloud option to share the reports and which can be visibly shared by managers in the cloud, which can be auto-updated.
Sir, voice is not clear, sir. So can you put it in the chart window? Your voice is not clear.
So one.
You can open a chart and just write your query on the chart.
Sir, is it clear now?
Yes, sir. Yeah, tell me, sir.
So what I was asking is, as you are in comparison, we have discussed that in between Excel and Power BI, you said that we do have a cloud option where we can share the reports with our organizational already in the cloud, and anyone who want to view our reports can be accessible.
Yes.
That is what the major difference what we have between Excel and Power BI, no?
Performance-wise, sir, you can't create this much fast Excel reports.
And we do have so much of advanced options in Power BI as well.
Pardon?
We do have so much of advanced options in Power BI compared to Excel.
Yes, yes.
Sir, one more thing, like there is one more tool which is not a Microsoft product, which is a Google product known as Google Data Studio. So may I know what is the major difference between Google Data Studio and Power BI?
I'm not aware of Google Data Studio.
Okay. Because more or less, it has the same interface as Power BI, like all the slicers in the right side and the same the interface of the board and all the options at the top. The complete interface is same, but it is a Google product, not a Microsoft product. Yeah. So I do think that because not all organizations will accept a personal Gmail ID for official use, no? So maybe that is a drawback for that. Out of my curiosity, I was just asking what would be the major difference.
There are so many tools. All these are data analytic tools only.
Okay.
Logi Analytics is there, Oracle, IBM. Everybody has their analytics tool. MicroStrategy is also there in the Microsoft only.
Okay. Thank you.
Like that, Salesforce. ClickView is also very famous.
Okay.
Tableau, Microsoft.
Okay. We do have that in here also, the Google Data one. Yes. In the second box.
Yeah, Google.
Yeah, Google Data. Sorry, no, not Good Data. It is Google Data Studio. Yeah. Maybe that is different.
Yeah. Like each has its own advantages and disadvantages. This is most widely used for a tabulated data. Basically, I can say for Power BI and Tableau, these are more widely used for tabulated data.
Tabulated data. Okay.
In a tabular form, like in any SQL databases or in Excel.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Right. Thank you. R language and Python can be used as a data source. Okay, you can do a programming like for supposing linear programming, those things. You can get the data built using the Python libraries, and the output of that Python script can be used as a data source and create the charts here. Okay, you can generate charts in the Python itself, but it requires a location where you want to present those charts. Okay, you need to use them in some web application or somewhere. If you put those charts within a Power BI, in the Power BI itself, we can create a new chart using a Python library as a input. Okay, so that's how we can use a Python and R languages in Power BI. You can see here, you have a R program, R script visual. So this is going to accept a R script as the input. Based on the data given by the R script, you can create a chart here. Similarly, a Python also. We do not discuss this Python and R language. I have created some examples, but I am not a full-fledged professional in Python. Okay, but I can, if you are interested, I can show how to use Python or R language in Power BI. How to use it, I have seen that, I have studied that, but practically I have not used them. Okay, in the live I did not use, but I know how it can be used. I can show you how to integrate R and Python with the Power BI.
Sir, for practicing this publishing to the web, you said we need to have an email address, right?
Yes.
If we don't want to use our company email address,
yeah,
how can we, just for this course, how can we create like a temporary?
Yeah, I will show you, sir. That there are many ways you can.
Okay. Okay.
Because that mail ID is required only for one time, we can create a temporary mail ID. That's not a problem.
Right. Okay.
So I think next Saturday again we are going to meet, sir. Meanwhile, all of you can download and try to install this Power BI. Okay, this is the path. Or you can easily Google it and download the Power BI and keep it ready installed so that it will be easier. As we discuss, you can also start practicing, and if you have any doubts, you can ask me. Okay, this is the path where you can download. It's a hardly 300 MB size. Okay, you can just download. Just click on that and you can easily install it. Or if you have any concerns or if you have any problems, I can help you out in the next session how to install it. Okay, all the Excel sample files, whatever we discuss in the class, that will be shared with you. You can use the same data files for practice purpose. And also we are going to record all the sessions and sharing with you the recording. So while practicing, if you have any doubts, you can report to the recordings. Okay, so that's all for today. Thank you all. Let's meet again tomorrow, next Saturday at 2 o'clock sharp.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, bye.
Thank you, sir. Bye. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.